Hi, my name is Michael DeSilvis here at Revival Network and DeSilvis' Media Freedom Network, as you see online. Um, the reason why I am talking to you this morning is because I think we need to really take our time with our decisions. I mean, have you ever heard of the expression, why be so quick to call the kettle black? And it's just that, when we're going through things in life, sometimes we want to do things more so, we don't want to do it faster than the way God wants to do them. And sometimes we need to take our time. And I was telling my mom, well, I have some preservations about you rededicating your vows so soon and all, because he's not finished with the program, because he's got an addiction with pornography. He's not finished with that. And B, I think you should wait because you don't know what's going to happen as a result of this program. You don't know if he's going to fall away, because the way he's going at it statistically, it shows that counseling with a counselor is not enough. He's got to go and get help with intervention. And it's not a matter of whether he moves out or not. It's just an agreement that you all made originally, that if he wasn't going to straighten up, then he would have to get out of there. He'd have to find a place to live. He'd have to get divorced. But the thing is, the whole point of the matter is people should be happy with what they're doing, but they shouldn't rush into it, especially when other people might have something to do with it, like behind it, trying to push it along, when yet they don't know all the situation or the history, for that matter, of what that couple has gone through. And that's why it's always best to leave that up entirely to God and to his timing, and not try to have the influence of friends, because friends will sometimes influence you to do things even though it may seem right, but it isn't right, because it's based on what they want, according to their agenda, or what they want to see accomplished in your life for you, because they want you to be happy, but at the same time they're sort of not really, given the time, so sort of being selfish, because they're not really giving you the time to process through all these things first, and letting to see what happens with this program. And once he graduates from this program, from counseling, and he's no longer looking at the phone like he was doing a couple weeks ago, like 2 or 3 weeks ago, and not looking at stuff on the internet when you're not around, and as long as all this stuff is going on like it's supposed to be going on, then I have no problem with you all getting married, rededicating your vows. But if this was going on just 2 or 3 weeks ago, I think it's too soon, and I think you need to wait. That's what I think. I think anyone in counseling, if you called them, would probably say the same thing. Wait a little longer, because he's got to get through with the program first. And then once he graduates, then you can rededicate your vows. See how it's going to go, because if he messes up again and you see him doing all this stuff again, then it's not going to work. And if you redo your vows, even though you think it's going to make him really come to his senses because he's in front of all those people, believe me, it doesn't always work that way with someone with an addiction, whether it be drugs, pornography, or alcohol, whatever that addiction device is. They don't see it that way, because it doesn't really matter to them, because they're being controlled by that addiction, whatever the case may be, whatever that is. And it doesn't really matter to them if they're in front of their whole church family or God, because they see it differently. They see it as a way, well, maybe if I do this, she'll be happy and she'll stay off of me, She'll stay off of me so much about, pressuring me about going to counseling, or pressuring me to do this, or pressuring me to do that, because that's what they do. So, and they tend to have a tendency to do that. So, it's always important to follow what God says and not try to rush because you feel like that's the right way to go, but it may not be the right way to go, because it may not be according to God's timing. So we have to listen to God's timing when it comes to these sensitive matters about rededicating our marriages and things to God, as well as in front of our friends and family. We want to make sure we do it at the right time and at the right interval, when it's God's call, for the right time for it to be, not when we want to half-rashly to it. Because she just told me this today that they're getting married, and they work. She's looking on getting a dress and everything. And I said, Ma, hold it. And, she's not even really, she wants me to be there, but I don't think I'm going to be there, because Stuart don't want me to be there. For some reason, he doesn't want me to be there. And so, for all I know, the way when I talked to her, it's like I wouldn't even invited or wasn't even asked to sing there or nothing. I wasn't even asked nothing, and it's like, it's like most of the things that she's doing is for what Stewart wants, rather than, if they're rededicating their vows, they ought to be able to do some things that both of them want when they want to rededicate their vows. And if Mom wants me there, then I should be able to be there because I'm her son, and rightfully so. That's my place to be there. But of course, the way they're thinking is, it's more about what Stewart wants, is what I see more so than what my mother wants. And I think it's another issue too in itself. There's a lot of selfishness and a lot of controlling there. And I think there needs to be I think people need to look at that too. Because when people rededicate their vows, I think it's something that both should have a full hands-on approach to, and both should go through the whole step of the process, not one getting more what they want or what they would like to see than the other getting. So I think it's another issue that needs to be looked at too. And I think Deb might have some instigation to do with this, because she doesn't want to see them get divorced, and Mom has made a statement to me that Deb may also be behind this charade. And even though she says it's not, because that's probably what she was told to say, but I think she has something to do with it. Because she's suggesting all the ideas about going dress shopping and all, putting these plums and pudding dunkings in her head, and Deb don't even know half the story of the whole history of what's going on, because she don't see it from the way, like the way God would see it. She's seeing it from her own standpoint because she's controlling herself. And so she wants things to be happy for Stewart more so than for Mom. And I know she'll deny this, but that's what I see. And I think, I need to wait on that remarriage thing and see what happens with this counseling thing, and see if you can graduate and stop looking at this stuff first before you go and rededicate your vows. But anyway, let me know what you think down below. That's my opinion on it. Of course, I know my opinion doesn't matter when it comes to family, because a lot of times, they end up doing stuff, and then what I said actually ends up happening. So, it's not that I didn't tell you so. I'm going to forewarn you, it probably will be like that. It's going to be a disaster, because it's not being done according to God's way and by the way His timing is. And I think it's more about what other people want and the dynamics of the friend structure of the relationship than more what Mom wants, what Stewart wants. And I think it's too soon for them to be rededicating their vows. I really, seriously, honest to God, do. So anyway, this is Michael DeSilvis, and of course, for what it matters, I will see you later, and of course, stay strong in the Lord. I love you. Bye for now.